What's up, guys? It's your boy Jay, and I am back with a brand new segment for the channel, which actually might feel like a throwback for any of you guys who have been following me since my early days on YouTube. Because uh, recently, a friend of mine moved back into town. Shout out to my boy Corey. And because of that, I've been able to actually make regular trips to the comic shop again, which means I've been able to actually pick up physical comic books. So I've been itching to talk about these, and I felt like I didn't want to just keep taking up huge chunks of the screen time segment on the podcast. So I'm going to just turn these into their own dedicated weekly videos. So this is probably going to be a longer one because this is like technically 2 weeks worth of comics. I'm gonna go through them as quickly as possible, but still kind of give my thoughts. But we're gonna go through my pull for both the week before Christmas and the week of Christmas, and just talk about these books and give my thoughts on them. So first things first, we picked up the first two issues of Black Canary, Best of the Best. The second issue came out this week. This is written by Tom King with art by Ryan Sook, and this artwork is absolutely phenomenal. This is such a great book. I'm a huge Black Canary fan. I have a Black Canary figure sitting on my shelf over there somewhere. I don't know where she is, but she is somewhere over there. I think she's up top with the rest of my comic book figures. But Dinah Drake Lance, the second Black Canary. So this series is all about Black Canary participating in a fighting tournament, one-on-one match against Lady Shiva, aka Sandra Wusan, aka the greatest hand-to-hand combatant in all of the DC universe, and it is great because so we find out basically that this whole thing, like each of these issues, it's a 5 issue miniseries. Or I think it might be 6, because she's supposed to last 6 rounds, or at least win in 6 rounds, and each issue is a round, and we find out that the original Black Canary, Dinah Drake, Laura, Dinah Two. I'm gonna call her Dinah Laurel. Dinah Laurel's mother, the original Black Canary, Dinah Drake, is dying of cancer. She has cancer, and basically, she is participating in this not only for the money to help secure a treatment for her mom, but also to cement the legacy of the Black Canary as being the best hand-to-hand combatant in the DC universe. And it is sick. Tom King is having such a blast writing these commentators. You can tell he's having a lot of fun, but it's not Tom King with a lot of introspective personal drama, and that of course comes with the back and forth between the original Black Canary and Dinah Lance, and because Dinah Lance is actually being trained by her mother, who is a notorious hard ass and is pushing her with some super hardcore training, like making her like hold cinder blocks while in this water, like some super intense hardcore training. And she's just like, come on, don't be a little bitch, you're not a girl anymore, you're not a little girl anymore, you can do this, I know you can do better than that. It feels very much like the dynamic between the two Silk Spectres, if you've ever read Watchmen, which is funny because obviously Silk Spectre draws inspiration from Black Canary. So, obvious parallels here, and we know King is a huge fan of Watchmen as well. I think this is a really good series. I cannot wait for more of this, and I'm glad Dinah gets more spotlight because she is one of my favorite DC characters of all time. She's part of the Fabulous Fitness Club, along with Zatanna, another one of my favorites, who is getting an ongoing series that I cannot wait to cover. Uh, but to continue the trend of badass female comic characters, I picked up the first two issues of the Psylocke ongoing series, written by Alyssa Wong and art by, I want to say, Vincenzo Cravaha. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, but the art is fantastic. This series obviously takes place after the fall of X. You know, it's from the Ashes book. And this follows Psylocke, aka Quanon, not Betsy Braddock, because Betsy is, of course, Captain Britain, if you've been following the X-Men stuff. And she's doing her own thing over there. But she, in this arc, she is essentially... she has stumbled upon a mutant trafficking ring that has kidnapped children and is using them as test subject for an experimental variant on mutant growth hormone. And of course, Psylocke is doing what Psylocke does, busting in, taking names and killing motherfuckers. I mean, like, it's a Psylocke book. You get what you pay for, and it's great. This feels like a very much kind of espionage, underground type book, like, you know, something like you would expect from Black Widow, but of course with Psylocke, which has kind of course, the same vibe because they're both deadly assassins, and I really like it. We get to see kind of more insight into Quanon's past, because, you know, if you're familiar with Quanon, the, you know, original, not original vessel, but the body that Betsy swapped into throughout the 90s, she was originally an assassin, trained by the Hand, and you know, she herself has psionic powers as well, and she is working alongside this kid Devin, who she helped on her own side mission, and he's now become her kind of guy in the chair, and it's they have a really fun dynamic. It's a really cool book, man. It's very much, like I said, if you like that kind of Black Widow, John Wick kind of espionage action book, this is definitely one I would recommend. The art is absolutely fantastic. And I mean, I main Psylocke in Marvel Rivals, so I had to check out the Psylocke book, of course. I definitely would recommend it if you are a fan of Psylocke. So yeah, next up we have Absolute Wonder Woman number 3, which just came out this week as well. The Absolute books have been killing it, and this is no exception. This is written by Kelly Thompson with art by... Oh, shoot. What is her name? I want to give her credit. It's Hayden Sherman. Hayden Sherman. I was not going to forget. Hayden Sherman. And the art is absolutely fantastic in this. So this is what the concept and premise is. What if, instead of being raised on Themyscira, Wonder Woman was raised in hell by Circe? So Wonder Woman is taught magic here, but very much like a lot of the other Absolute characters, she is still Diana at her core, all about love and compassion, and love and compassion is a driving force throughout this book and throughout the series so far. And you know, she is currently fighting this thing called the Tetracide, which is this big tentacle monster that is ravaging Gateway City, and you really get to see kind of the depths that Wonder Woman is willing to go in order to save people, how much of herself she is willing to give, both literally and figuratively, and it's insane. She straight up, as you can see here, like, sacrificed her arm to send Steve Trevor back to Man's World. That is intense. Like, and we find out that her the arm that she had, the other arm that she's had, is actually just a prosthetic magic arm, which is really fucking cool. And this whole concept is just so dope. And we get introduced to Barbara Minerva here, who apparently has done research into Amazon. So obviously, that relationship is going to be important. And if you know Wonder Woman, you know Barbara Minerva is, of course, Cheetah in the main universe. So we'll see how that goes and that develops. Uh, but here, like I said, I love, especially at the very end, how Diana emphasizes compassion and empathy at the end. She implores the people of the city, like, take care of your neighbors, like, help each other out. Don't, I implore you. I can't do this on my own. I need your help in order to save this city. And I think that's just so Wonder Woman in her purest form at her core. It is so good. I love this series so much. I cannot wait for more of this. So, real quick, we're going to go through the other absolute stuff, because that's the other stuff I picked up in this haul. So, I do have all 3 issues of Absolute Batman. We picked these up. I got reprints of the first 2 issues, and I got issue 3 last week. I absolutely love Absolute Batman, pun intended. Like, very much so. This is Batman at his core, and Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta, you guys are absolutely fucking killing it. This is, of course, the big twist is, what if Batman was not wealthy, and, instead of both of his parents dying, it was just his father, and his mom is still around, and he actually has connections to a lot of people that would eventually become who we know as his future rogues, like the Riddler, Catwoman, Killer Croc, Penguin, stuff like Two-Face, stuff like that. And it is really cool. We get to see Batman, this young Batman, as this kind of peak of human ingenuity and tenacity. The money does not define him. It is his spirit. It's his drive. It's his need to save people and to kind of be Gotham. And the creative ways of how he kind of integrates himself not only with the city, but kind of learns Gotham itself is really cool. I love what they do with Alfred and his character and their dynamic. It's really interesting. I definitely will go in depth more when the 4th issue comes out. Since it's a longer issue, I can't spend too much time going into it. I've already been going for 12 minutes, so I don't want to go too deep, but I am loving Absolute Batman so far. Really good stuff. And then, of course, we have Absolute Superman. The conceit here is, what if Superman was actually old enough to remember the destruction of Krypton, and what if he wasn't raised by the Kents? So this Superman is still very much in personality the Superman we know, but he is more familiar with Krypton, and he was more raised by his parents, who still kind of have very similar values to the Kents. Are very much kind of working class people and are for the people, and he sees the potential in Earth and wants to bring that out, but he doesn't know just yet how to do it. And his interactions with Lois Lane, who is a soldier in this universe, who works for kind of this paramilitary unit, the Peacemakers, will definitely kind of shape his future going in. I don't have issues 2 and 3 yet. I have read them digitally. That's how I know about the stuff with Lois Lane. But we'll go into more depth about this later. I just wanted to, breeze right past it. But the main book I wanted to talk about in this video is Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 12, the Christmas issue. My God, I love this. I had to get the variant cover with the MJ variant, because as much as I love the Christmas themed cover on the original, this issue is all about the Watson family. It is Christmas at the Parker house, but we have some unexpected guests. Not only Mary Jane's sister Gail, who is a canon character in the 616 that we barely get to see, but a character that we have never seen at all. in the 616, which is Madeline Watson shows up, Mary Jane's mom, and she's like, she very much reminds me of the kind of free spirited facade that 616 MJ puts on, which is really interesting because in the 616, the reason Mary Jane acts the way she does is because she feels like, you know, Mary Jane's mom was just someone who stayed and kind of didn't live her life to the fullest. And so having that kind of flipped with Madeline Watson in this new Ultimate Universe is really cool. And I think it's really fun. Look, I'm someone who loves character drama and dialogue, and this is just an entire issue of people hashing out their drama and talking to each other. I absolutely love this. Just the strength of Mary Jane's character. Because, you know, I love Mary Jane, and she's one of my favorite characters in all of Spider-Man. And just to see how strong she is and how she stands on her own, and kind of like the argument she got into with her sister about the falling out with the fact that her sister feels like Peter was a loser and that she was wasting her time, that her kids were holding her back, and she's like, no, this is what I chose, this is the life I wanted. And you know, her sister kind of comes to try and compare her life to MJ's. You know, she thought, oh, you know, MJ is probably doing terrible. This will probably make me feel better since I'm going through this nasty divorce. But it turns out her kids are amazing. Peter seems like a whole different person, and her job is awesome. So MJ's actually like living her best life right now, and it's great. I love this. I love the dynamic between Richie and Jonah. We find out that like Richie actually did read Jonah's book and he liked it. I thought that was fun. Madeline hitting on Uncle Ben, that's a little okay, a little weird, but all right. And then a little love triangle going on a little bit because, you know, Jonah thinks that you know, Madeline was hitting on him, so he's trying to get at Madeline as well. But I actually think that Uncle Ben might be starting to connect with Aunt Anna because you know, if it's anything like the 616, we know Aunt Anna was very good friends with Aunt May, and of course grief tends to bond people, so maybe Uncle Ben and Aunt Anna are getting you know, starting to have a little thing going on, so that's pretty interesting. But then of course there's the big twist, and you know, spoiler alert, and I wish I had given an actual spoiler alert at the beginning of this video, but we find out, so this whole issue Peter has been silent. He hasn't said a word, but, you know, at first I was like, oh yeah, no, that's just Peter, you know, listening to his wife and, you know, just kind of being a soundboard and knowing that's kind of what she needs. She just needed to vent. But it turns out that that wasn't Peter at all. That was the symbiote who took, like, human form and, like, it was pretending to be Peter. It turns out Peter and Harry went off on a mission and have been captured by Kraven the Hunter and have been missing for several days now. Holy shit, this is getting intense. Because, you know, if you've read the last issue, you know that, you know, Peter and Harry have been being targeted by Kingpin and his cronies as well. So, like, shit is getting real in Ultimate Spider-Man. I have been loving it. It is great. I am so excited to be talking about comics again. I know this has been all over the place, but I didn't want to go super in-depth on everything. Otherwise, this would be like a 30-minute video instead of the 20-minute video you got. But I hope you did enjoy it nevertheless, and I'll be back next week for another episode of Comic Chaser. This has been your boy, Jay, from the Channel Chasers Podcast, and I'll catch you guys later. Keep collecting, keep reading, and I'll see you next time with more comics. Peace.